Hello, good evening. It's the first day of the last month of the year. Countdown to Christmas has already begun. This is Metro News, and we are live from our studios here at Labone, Accra. My name is Kwasi Afriyie. Let's have a look at the top stories for tonight's bulletin. Northern Regional Security Council meets to assess crisis at Bumpurugu, but officials are tight-lipped about decisions taken. Meanwhile, those in possession of arms have been asked to hand them over or face consequences. Payment of ex gratia to former GNPC officials described as illegal, but minority MPs crying foul are yet to petition Parliament as threatened. UNICEF worried about new apps on social media exposing the youth to promiscuity and the spread of HIV. Will bring you revelations as we mark World AIDS Day. Unregistered midwives break away from umbrella body, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Council. Well, thank you very much for joining us again. Let's go straight into the details of the bulletin now. And some minority MPs have vowed to use all means to stop GNPC, as they put it, from wrongfully doling out monies to cronies in the name of ex gratia. MP for Asokwa and former Energy Minister K.T. Hammond says he has already petitioned the Select Committee on Energy. Ranking member of the Constitutional and Legislation Committee, Joe Oseiusu, also claims the payment is illegal.
So far, names of 4 people who received undisclosed sums have been made public. They are Chachu Chikata, former GNPC Chief Executive, and Nana Boache Asafo-Adjei, who once acted as CEO, Benjamin Dagadu, current Deputy Minister for Petroleum, who was then Field Evaluation and Development Manager at GNPC, and Ms. Esther COBBAH, Public Affairs Manager. They all served periods ranging from 12 to 21 years. Critics, including some minority MPs and Ghana Integrity Initiative, are raising eyebrows. The anti-graft body, for example, is demanding full publication of payments made. MP for Asokwa K.T. Hammond has threatened to petition Parliament to summon GNPC for clarity.
Ultimately, those who have taken the money would have to return it to the appropriate place, because I don't think they deserve it. There's no legal, moral, or any justification whatsoever.
Majority MPs contacted by Metro News declined comment, saying they are yet to be fully briefed on the matter. The GNPC statement said they were all removed when the NPP administration took over in 2001, and circumstances then did not allow for payment of their respective accumulated separation and entitlements. Ranking member of the Constitutional and Legislation Committee, Joe Oseiusu, however, claims that the payment is illegal.
Any contract, any claim arising out of any contract, you have a maximum of 6 years within which to bring an action to recover whatever you think you're entitled to. Mr. Chikata left GNPC way back in 1999 or thereabout. It's been 15 years thereon. So any claim for compensation, any claim for payment of anything was statute barred at the end of 2006.
Metro News is keeping an eye on this controversy and will keep you updated.
Well, so the minority in Parliament says the payments will be illegal, but the then Field Evaluation and Development Manager at GNPC and the Public Affairs Manager, ESTHER COBBAH, has reacted to the allegations being made by Member of Parliament, Honorable K.T. Hammond, about payments by the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. She says the allegations are without basis, except from her statement says, and I quote, "The truth is that as of now, no payments have been made to me by GNPC, though I am owed significant amount for work done and from my contributions to the Provident Fund whilst I was in the employment of the corporation. I was in various capacities for GNPC from 1989 when I set up the Public Affairs Manager. In 1991, I was sent on secondment to the West African Gas Pipeline Project as External Affairs Manager. I set up the External Affairs Department of the project with staff from 4 countries, namely Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, among other duties. I thank God that no weapon fashioned against me by the making of such unjustified attacks will prosper. Even though my appointment as External Affairs Manager of the West African Gas Pipeline was not a government appointment over which the minister had authority, I decided not to contest the issue, having regard to the circumstance of the day. Well, so that has been the reaction. We'll truly follow up to see how this unravels. Now, the Interior Ministry has assured the people of Bumpurugu and neighboring towns in the northern region of beefed up security to stop the violence, which has claimed 3 lives. It is also cautioning those still in possession of arms to hand them over to the police or face the consequences if arrested. As of Tuesday morning, 3 people had been confirmed dead in the renewed violence at Bumpurugu since Saturday. The latest round of clashes was triggered by the death of 2 men believed to have been kidnapped and strangulated before they were buried in the bush. The police, however, managed to trace the spot, and the bodies have since been exhumed and deposited at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Though additional police and military personnel were deployed there on Monday, the violence continued, and over 25 houses have so far been torched. Some blame the security for failed intelligence, but indigents say the terrain is difficult. Deputy Minister for Interior assures everything is under control.
Relative calm has returned on the part of the police and the military in the area. And so when the recent violence erupted, all we did was to send in reinforcements.
Teachers and other public servants are reportedly fleeing the conflict zone for fear of reprisal attacks. James Agaga says his ministry will act on the advice of the Regional Security Council, especially regarding a possible extension of the curfew.
As a ministry, waiting patiently for the RECSEC to conclude with their meeting and advise us. If the RECSEC comes out with the view or the conclusion that it is important to extend the curfew hours to enable the security agencies patrol the area more effectively, the ministry would be disposed to reviewing the curfew hours, from what it is now to what the RECSEC would deem fit.
He also assured those fanning the violence will be arrested and prosecuted.
All those who have perpetrated violence in one form or the other are going to be arrested and dealt with. We cannot toy with our security, and they would continue to patrol the area until a lasting solution is found.
The protracted chieftaincy dispute is over decades, and the Interior Ministry hopes a quick ruling on the matter by adjudicating bodies, including the Regional House of Chiefs, can help bring a lasting solution. And now the Chief Executive of the Youth Employment Agency has been relieved of his post. A statement issued by the Chief of Staff said Vincent Kuagbenu has been asked to hand over to his successor, COBBAH Bicham, latest by December 8, 2015.
The Chief of Staff statement directed Vincent Kuagbenu to return to the presidency with immediate effect. The former YEA Chief Executive Officer was in the news last week when some aggrieved unemployed graduates with physical disabilities presented a petition to the Flagstaff House accusing him of refusing to offer them employment.
COBBAH Champon with the Public Service Commission organized, an interview for people on the 25th of June. And the Public Service Commission said that all of them have passed. And COBBAH and Kuagbenu coming to tell us that because the people are disabled, he can't work with them, he will never give them any job, they can go to hell. That's why we are here. And we hope that the president will do the honorable thing. If he doesn't want us to be on the street, to sack Kuagbenu and to immediately employ us and give TS to employ those who have gotten the assurance letters immediately before 3rd of December.
The statement announcing the termination of Vincent Kuagbenu's appointment as Chief Executive of the Youth Employment Authority did not assign reasons.
You're welcome back from that break. Let's do some more stories. And as we mark World AIDS Day today, let's reflect on these very few questions. Now we are asking, are you still conscious about the possibility of contracting the disease whenever you visit the saloon? What about your sexual behavior? Do you readily give in when your partner does not prefer condoms? Now hear this. Social media is now a major platform where people end up contracting HIV. The details are in the following report.
This seems to be the case for a growing population of young homosexual men who have contracted the virus from unprotected sexual encounters with strangers contacted through mobile dating apps. A study by UNICEF reported an increase in the number of HIV cases among those aged between 10 and 19 in the Asia-Pacific region. A large number of them used mobile-based dating apps to find casual sex partners. The report said the explosion of smartphone gay dating apps has expanded the options for casual spontaneous sex as never before. Mobile app users in the same vicinity can locate each other and arrange an immediate sexual encounter with a few screen touches. While the app themselves are not directly responsible for the spread of the diseases, they are being used by youth to indulge in risky behavior. Young gay men themselves have consistently reported that they are now using mobile dating apps to meet up for sex and are having more casual sex with more people as a result. While dating apps are a tool for the spread of STDs, the UN suggests they can also be vehicles to educate users about safe sex and the need for regular testing. The 2015 UN report that was released on 1st December on World AIDS Day went on to list other prominent reasons for the spread of HIV among Asia's youth: sex for money, lack of proper sex education, and the inability to afford condoms were some of the major factors listed. AIDS is currently the second leading cause of death among adolescents globally. Meanwhile, First Lady Lordina Dramani Mahama has renewed her commitment to support efforts towards the elimination of mother-to-child HIV transmission and the care for people living with HIV. In a statement to commemorate World AIDS Day, which is celebrated on the 1st of December each year, Lordina Mahama encouraged all to use the day as a starting point for sustained solidarity with people living with HIV. According to the First Lady, who will be co-hosting with the Chinese First Lady an African First Lady side event at this week's Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, she said she will continue to organize free testing, support the Ghana AIDS Commission and the National AIDS Control Program in their behavioral change advocacy, and encourage antenatal and HIV prevention services for pregnant women. Dr. Lordina Mahama is also president of the Organization of African First Ladies Against AIDS.
Well, so if you do answer to any of the questions I asked early on, you should be very careful, particularly about social media. We move on now, and registered midwives have severed relations with the umbrella body, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Councils, with immediate effect. The decision, according to its leaders, is to give them enough room to fight for their interests.
The National Association of Registered Midwives was formed in 2001 to seek the welfare of members. It indirectly also warrants members to protect the integrity of the profession and the well-being of the maternal child and neonatal care. It has over 4,000 registered members in government health facilities and mission hospitals in the country. Until the announcement, it was under the umbrella body, the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Council. The midwives, however, made public their decision to break away at the 5th Annual General Meeting to review performance and strategies. Their national president, who unveiled their new logo, explains.
The association was known as Government Registered Midwives Association, but in 2004, during its second biennial conference at the Opoku Wari Senior High School in Kumasi, a new name was launched, and the name has been the National Association of Registered Midwives, Ghana. Mr. Chairman, I am happy to report that our new name now reflects all our documents. At the end of the conference, members resolved to support the efforts of the Ministry of Health.
In a speech read on her behalf, First Lady Lordina Mahama commended the association for helping to reduce maternal deaths across the country.
Particularly for the members of the association to be able to achieve the goals outlined in the above thematic areas, I entreat you to work together with other professional bodies through teamwork and partnership. It is my hope that you will continue to work even harder than before for the advancement of maternal health services in our country. The government appreciates the collective efforts of all midwives towards the attainment of the Millennium Development Goals. And finally on this, I conclude to say, Ayiko.
Now, the Progressive People's Party, PPP, will open nominations for flag-bearer aspirants from the 2nd of December 2015. The party has therefore invited members in good standing to pick up nomination forms to contest for the slot.
The Progressive People's Party has also set the 12th of January 2016 to begin the process of vetting aspirants, which should end by January 27, 2016. According to the statement signed by National Secretary Murtala Mohammed, the election of the flag bearer will take place on Saturday, February 13, 2016, at all the 275 constituencies in the country, and the presidential candidate, so elected, will be confirmed at the party's 4th anniversary national convention to be held in Accra on Saturday, February 27, 2016. The National Committee has approved a fee of 10,000 cedis for aspirants to pick a presidential nomination form, while filing of the form will attract a fee of 30,000 cedis per candidate.
Welcome back from that break. It's now time for business. And the issue of affordable housing came up again on Monday as Parliament considered a tax waiver agreement for government's affordable housing project. Now, according to members of Parliament, the eventual cost of a 2-bedroom house may eventually come to $40,000, which they say isn't affordable.
The request for import duty waiver, amounting to about $40 million on materials, was presented to Parliament on Tuesday by the Finance Minister. This, according to the Minister, will facilitate the construction of the 5,000 units of the affordable housing project. This waiver did not go down well with some members, who say the cost of the project suggests that it's fully commercial and not a social intervention measure.
Averagely, how many Ghanaians can afford a $40,000 house as affordable? So averagely, so we are all for affordable housing. But Mr. Speaker, what is before us is more than affordable housing. It's executive housing.
The Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, Samson Ahi, disagrees.
Affordability is relative. It depends. It depends on your pocket. If you ask somebody to pay $48,000, Somebody can pay 5 times, 10 times. Somebody to even ask somebody to also pay $10,000 to struggle. So it depends on.
According to Samson, there are some Ghanaians who can afford that amount, and so the minority has no case.
And up next is the figures from the commodities market. Sports with Prince.
No, the GFA don't put any pressure. They also have a job to do to organize all these things. It's not easy because issues sometimes come to issue with money. I think they are doing their best. About pressure on me, no pressure. Everything is more or less clear what we need to do. And if we have something, we are sorted in like it's a family. For me, all of us is family for one target, that the Black Stars will be good. So they have a job to do. They're trying to do their best and really, really make a lot of efforts, all the people. And organization is very important. The other issue of discipline, as I told you, one of the things that I choose players is discipline. And I spoke with them, and I don't see any issue with them. So they're doing well, but my eyes is always open that they will continue to be disciplined.
Head coach of the national team, the Black Stars, Avram Grant, talking to the media and explaining to the media that he's under no pressure from the Ghana Football Association. Now let's take you to Senegal, where the Africa Under-20 Championship is currently ongoing, and South Africa recorded their first victory at the tournament in Senegal with a 3-2 win over the junior Chipolopolo of Zambia.
Coming off respective opening defeats, South Africa and Zambia faced off in a must-win Group A clash at the Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations. Owen Dagama immediately roped in the talents of Orlando Pirates duo Gift Motupa and Menzi Masugu, who were fresh off the plane following their CAF Confederation Cup disappointment with the Bucks. The pair featured heavily in the opening exchanges as Dagama's men bossed proceedings with several attempts on goal, but were unable to get the beating of Tostan Sabata and his defense. When the Zambians did go on the offensive, Jody February had to be at his very best. Having defended for most of the first half, Zambia took the lead against the run of play.
Players starting to arrive in numbers. That's a great opportunity. What a volley! In the perfect position he was, and that was an absolute blinder of a strike.
After disappointing opening 45, the South Africans were boosted by the two men who missed the tournament opener. First, Masugu restored parity just 2 minutes after the restart, before Motupa gave Amaglukluk the lead for the first time.
Plenty of players, it's lit, and there's another goal! A lovely flick and a wonderful header executed to perfection.
South Africa recording a victory over Zambia. That's it for the sports. Thanks for your time. Newsnight continues after this break.
You're welcome back. Before we take final leave of you, President John Dramani Mahama will this weekend visit South Africa to attend the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. This will be the first meeting since President Xi Jinping assumed office in 2013.
China is the second largest economy in the world. The world's most populous country is today one of the most influential in Africa and is virtually controlling its resources through loans and other major infrastructure projects it's undertaken. China has consistently doubled its financial commitment to Africa during the past 3 China-Africa cooperation meetings, from $5 billion in 2006 to $10 billion in 2009, and $20 billion committed in 2012 had been dispersed in 2013. Expectations are that China will use such huge new platforms to boost its financing commitment and development priorities in Africa at the 6th meeting. The 6th China-Africa Cooperation meeting will possibly witness an elevated devotion on Beijing's part towards those areas including agricultural development, industrialization, training, job creation and technology transfer through investment in manufacturing. President Mahama, who will join other leaders in South Africa, is expected to examine China's actions to accurately anticipate and assess the Chinese agenda, weighing the pros and cons in order to approach the China-Africa cooperation with strategies and priorities that will align with African needs. Meanwhile, economic experts want to see the African Union play a key role in harmonizing the positions and development agendas among African countries on how African agendas are incorporated in China's planned activities in the continent. Frank Nyonato, Metro News, Accra.
And this is where time would allow us for the bulletin tonight. Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Kwasi. Good evening.